concert back since quarantine. Let me say, none of this would be possible without the support of our patrons and donors. You've seen on screen since you've been here to donate 56512, text Mozart. I would ask again, please consider donating to support music education, to support Mainly Mozart, to support the Mainly Mozart Youth Orchestra. So thank you. And here is Board of Directors member Jing Bourgeois to talk.
Good evening, everyone. I look at this big crowd, exciting crowd. I want to say on behalf of the Mainly Mozart board members, I want to first of all thank you to all our MMYO families, parents, grandparents, MMYO friends. Thank you so much for being here and for coming here to join us to celebrate the wonderful musicians' hard work tonight. Thank you. Now, please, let's take a moment. I want you all to think about, with this wonderful setup, beautiful weather venue, what took place to make this happen. I want you to take a moment to pause, to give sincere thanks to amazing instructors, Mr. Herlan Constantino, Ms. Jim Frey, Mr. Glassen, and Ms. Robin, and our amazing administrator, Mr. Joseph Shanks. Thank you so much for your hard work and dedication. Now, lastly but not least, I would really like to thank our CEO, Lansing Anterno, and the Mainly Mozart staff, and for their support during the pandemic, alongside with our amazing instructors and administrators, not only pull us through the pandemic, but we have thrived the pandemic, kept our reputation, high quality music education for hundreds of young musicians from Mainly Mozart Youth Orchestra. Please join me, give a round of applause to thank our amazing support Mainly Mozart staff, amazing instructors, and the staff and all our wonderful community. Thank you.
Okay, and now we'd like to bring up Nancy Letourneau, CEO of Mainly Mozart. Oh, and Michael Francis, and our music director, Michael Francis. So sorry.
Thank you. We're so happy to have all of you here. I would like to thank today's concert sponsors, because without our underwriters, none of this is possible. I'd like to thank Renette Levine, concert sponsor. Our incredible Jing Bourgeois and Jim Freeman. And a very important community partner for Mainly Mozart and the Mainly Mozart Youth Orchestra, UC San Diego, University of California at San Diego.
Am I speaking? Oh, that's never a good idea. Don't give the conductor the microphone. You won't hear any music, just the sound of my own voice and the pleasure that it emits for myself and nobody else. Well, it's wonderful to be here. We had a marvelous concert last night and also an opening night, and this is an amazing festival, and I'm so proud to be the music director of it, because we've kept the music going. We understand the necessity of this glorious art form, and above all, we know how important it is that young people get to experience it, enjoy it, the skill, the craft, the discipline of making music. It genuinely opens up aspects of the brain, of the physical, the coordination, the kinetic, the emotional, spiritual, psychological. It does everything. It also teaches you the humility to know how to listen to each other. It makes them turn their mobile phones off. There's some round of applause, surely. And also it gives them that great conversation with the past, that unity and continuity with the human experience, that they don't just know what happened in Beethoven's time, but they can feel it by playing his music, by Mozart's music. This is the most glorious art form, and for each one of these young musicians who goes through that skillful process of working with each other, their teachers, and this glorious music, they do become bigger, better, more rounded young people, and that's a wonderful thing. So on behalf of the Mainly Mozart Festival, the Festival Orchestra, I'd like to thank so much the wonderful directors of here, Jane Frey, Robin and Frank Glasson, and it's my pleasure to welcome the real visionary of this, and that is the music director of the Mainly Mozart Youth Orchestra, Hernan Constantino.
Hi everyone. So nice to see all of you here. Did we pick a good night to do this? Yeah. Thank you so much for coming out and supporting us. And welcome to our first live in-person concert in a year and a half. Now, I want to take some minutes here to tell you about how we got here. Last September, we started in-person rehearsal, and we found a wonderful church in Point Loma, the Point Loma Presbyterian Church. They had enough open spaces for all our groups. In regards to my group, the Intermediate Orchestra and Advanced Orchestra, we had to split them. We had to split this ensembles to 3 groups of about 15 to 17 students. And I would meet them about 35 minutes to 55. It's really not much, but at that time, it was enough for them to find a sense of normalcy. We also built these isolation shells or plastic enclosures. Are you seeing the video here? This is, of course, for our winds and brass students. This is to contain the aerosol that comes out of their instrument. Of course, they have to attend, when they attend rehearsals, they have to have bell covers. And at that time, well, what is that? So they've been creative about putting a sock on the bottom of their clarinet or a stocking on the trumpet, things like that. And it's been very challenging. In March of this year, we reduced these groups to 2 of about 25 to 27 students. Now we'd increased our rehearsal time about an hour 20 minutes. And this in-person live concert was already in our minds. Can we really do this? There were so many questions that we can't answer. How many students would be willing to play? How many shells can we fit on this stage? And what is the comfort level of our string players playing with the winds and brass in somewhat of enclosed space like this? Of course, time will answer this. In April, we reduced this to 1 group where everyone was free to rehearse, and we were almost at our full rehearsal schedule, 2.5 hours. And it was great to see everyone all together and for them to play together and just all this familiarity that they so miss. And in May, we decided to get rid of our shells. This is just last month, in favor of instrument bags. I found a pattern from a band teacher in the East Coast who shared the pattern online, and I asked my wonderful wife Luz if she could make these bags. And ladies and gentlemen, all the bags that you'll see today, the flute, oboe, clarinet, and bassoons, my wife was kind enough to make all of them. Would you please help me thank Mrs. C? Thank you. We're 2 days from opening, and we want to be safe here. Of course, everyone always had the option to join us virtually by Zoom. Although they can't really participate, well, they can ask questions. They hear the kids playing, but they can't really play together with them because of the delay. So that is how we got to where we are today. And it's been a wonderful, difficult, but rewarding as a wonderful evening like this. And I am so proud of all the kids for pushing through to make this happen. Now, of course, for us getting here, there's a lot of people for us to thank. And I'd like to do my thank yous now, so don't, if we could just play the concert. We'd like to thank the Point Loma Presbyterian Church for hosting us the entire year. They may not have a representative here, but I'd like to do a shout out to Jolene Wade, their Director of Operations, Senior Pastor Carla Shaw, and Alicia McMillan, their Music Director. They've been so generous and and understand our needs and been so supportive. Let's give them a hand. I want to make sure I don't forget anything. Our sponsors, thank you so much for the generosity. We have Mr. Peter and Michelle Landon and Mr. Jim Freeman and Jing Bourgeois. Thank you so much for all you've done with us and your continued support. Thank you. And once again, the Mainly Mozart staff, they've been so great in their support for our program, from Nancy Letourneau to Katie McBride, our Director of Operations, and Mark Corno, Director of the Communications, and the rest of the Mainly Mozart staff. Please give them a hand. And for you parents and families, thank you so much for your support, your understanding, for believing, for trusting us with your children. Point Loma has a fumigation schedule once a month, and it happens to fall on a Saturday. And this would bump our schedule later, which would mean our rehearsal time are all reduced. And the countless schedule changes, we would call virtual meetings because weather was not favorable, or when the cases were going up during the holidays, and all these changes, and you never complained. Thank you so much for all your support. And the many volunteers that we had the entire year who come every Saturday to help us with our setup, the tables, or not tables, but the chairs, the pop-up tents that you see there, and the temperature readings. We couldn't run these rehearsals without the help of our volunteers, and there's a lot of them here too. We can't move all these children without the volunteers, and they've been just the greatest. Thank you, volunteers. And we have a very special person to thank, our administrator, Mr. Joseph Shanks. And he's been the glue to this organization. He's the center of all of the instructors. And I wanted to bring him out for you to meet him, and so we could all thank him. Joseph? You know, I 2 years ago, a colleague of mine from the symphony says, we have this graduate student coming to San Diego State, and maybe you could use some help. He's going to be here for 2 years. And so I had a wonderful conversation with him, very impressed. And I said, you know, we don't really have any position, but you've been in a youth orchestra. Well, he plays the viola, and he knows what instructors needs, he knows what the group needs, and so just come on in and see what you could do for us. And And from day one, he never missed a beat. Get it? Never miss a beat? No. But Joseph has a few words for volunteers.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm the face behind all of the volunteer emails you parents have received all year. I cannot thank you enough for all the help you've given me to set up like Mr. C said, all the shelves, the chairs, everything all year. We could not have done it. I could not have done it without your help every Saturday morning and then tearing it down. Thank you so much, parents. I really appreciate it. And there's one more concert sponsor we need to thank. UC San Diego is also sponsoring tonight. Thank you, UC San Diego, for supporting this event. Thank you again, and I look forward to a wonderful concert.
Thank you, Joseph. I also wanted to thank all my fellow instructors for sticking it out with me this past year and a half, for continuing their drive, and it's because of them that we're trying to make, and I believe MMYO to be one of the best youth orchestra for our children to be mentored, to learn, to grow, to have wonderful lasting memories. Thank you, instructors. And lastly, all these kids, all these young musicians that you'll witness today, it is their hard work, their determination, and commitment that I could speak for my fellow instructors that we continue to have this passion for what we do. And so do me a favor, every group that you see tonight, give them the loudest cheers, the most thunderous applause, and let them know that we appreciate their hard work. Thank you, guys. Beginning Strings is on stage. I'd like to introduce Ms. Jane Fay and Suzuki Strings.
Thank you so much for being here for their first concert in 17 months. We're going to play another piece by Mozart. This is the March from Don Giovanni, and a little bit of Mozart's sense of humor here. Instead of writing the march in the traditional 4/4, he wrote it in 3/4 in a waltz tempo. So here is the Don Giovanni March in 3/4. The last piece in our Suzuki portion of the program is a fiddle tune. It's Boil Them Cabbages Down. And these fiddle tunes are great because in order for the kids to be able to play the fiddle tune and keep up, they have to learn to balance their bow, to use the correct amount of bow, to play in the right part of the bow. So the teacher doesn't really have to do any bow teaching in this piece. The music does it all. Okay, here's our fiddle tune, Boil Them Cabbages Down. Our last piece this evening is a rock piece, Seven Nation Army. This was a special request by the students. They wanted to, it was unanimous. They wanted to play this piece. And because of our wonderful percussionist from Advanced Orchestra, Cormac Cadden, who also plays drum kit, we were able to play this piece, Seven Nation Army. Next up is Intermediate Strings under the direction of Robin Glasson.
Everyone. Hello, everyone. It's me again. Can you hear me? Yes. I wanted to let you know that we also have a virtual program, virtual concert that is available to be viewed right now on YouTube. But I don't want you to go there right now. And we are presenting to you some of the videos from this virtual program. That's initially what we planned until this thinking that we couldn't have a live concert. And we'll be showing you one of the videos from Intermediate Strings, the Enpin Rag. And that's why you're probably wondering what are all these videos. But we plan to show some of them in between the group changes. The program is also being live streamed, so for friends and family, send them the link and wherever they are, so they could see and be with us. Just go to YouTube and search MMYO and click on that, and you'll find the two links there. So Intermediate Strings will be followed by the video that you'll see.
Good evening. My name is Robin Glasson and I direct Intermediate Strings. We are so thrilled to be here tonight to get an opportunity to play for everybody and just to celebrate this year that has been tough, but I feel like students and parents have really risen to the occasion and taken on the challenge of just working around every obstacle that could possibly be thrown our way. So thank you parents and thank you students for just supporting us and for supporting your students' education even when it wasn't the easiest thing to do. Parents have been setting up so many of those easy apps and just dealing with wind and all kinds of things, and we really appreciate all your efforts and all your troubles. I think it's paying off. The students really have put in an amazing amount of effort to pull up what they're doing here tonight. So the next piece we're going to play for you is 1812 Overture, and then after that we're going to do the Best of Queen, the pop queen with We Are the Champions, and another one, Bites the Dust. So those are our next two pieces. We hope you enjoy. we're going to end with one last piece called The Incredibles, and that is truly how I feel about my students. I feel like they've done an incredible job this year, and thank you for all your support. Here is The Incredibles.
Testing. Thank you very much. What a pleasure to be here after a year and a half of not playing live. It's sure great to be back and great to see you all here. Thank you very much for all your wonderful support being here, and very much thank you for this wonderful talent we have on the stage. It's amazing. So how about another round of applause? It's beautiful. You probably got a concert order. We're going to go a little out of order. We needed to for the sake of the trumpet player's chops. So we're going to move the Bugler's Holiday up a little bit sooner because it takes a little more energy. So we're going to feature our trumpet section on Leroy Anderson's Bugler's Holiday. And this is not the watered down version that we usually do with the middle schoolers. This is the one that we play when we do with the San Diego Symphony. So this is the real version, which is quite a challenge, and they stepped up to it. So I hope you enjoy Bugler's Holiday. This next piece we're going to play is kind of an interesting piece because our trombone player, who also studies privately with me, said, hey, I want to write a trombone concerto. I said, oh, that's great. So he says, here it is. And so he played it in the lesson, and we tweaked it a little bit and said, this is really good. Do you have like a piano accompaniment with it? Do you have? Because yeah, I wrote piano accompaniment. I said, good. How about a one for a concert band? Can you arrange it for concert band? He said, I can do that. So how about for orchestras? I can do that too. So his own original composition, arrangement, the whole bit, this young man, very talented young man, is going to play his concerto for you. Thank you, Edric. I said, how are you feeling? He goes, terrified. I just played a trumpet recital for the first time in like 12 months, and it was terrifying. Yeah, it's the first time, but you know what? Everyone's here to support you. Everyone loves the way you play. So, have fun. He survived. Stand up, Edric. Stand up, Edric. See, thanks to you, you just kicked off his career right there. So, speaking of talent, I couldn't help but showcase this very special flute player I have, who's definitely going to go on and have a wonderful career. I think her dream orchestra is Berlin Philharmonic. I can completely see her playing principal flute in the Berlin Philharmonic in a few more years. She is going to play her flute concerto for you. You want to get yourself set up there? And we'll wait for you. Take your time. Just want to take this opportunity to say what a pleasure it's been to work with the kids even on Zoom. We had a really fun time. We've got a chance to really get to know all the individuals, and they're playing very well from doing this. And then, of course, putting the virtual concerts together, I have to take all of their audios and put them into GarageBand and then slide it around and cut it up, make sure it all fits perfectly. And it's really simple. It takes like 40 hours. But when I was finished with it, I thought, this is actually what they actually sound like. I didn't doctor it, I didn't change it, I didn't add reverb, I didn't make it to try to sound better, didn't put the backing track in there to make it sound a little better. It's them playing, and it's really true, because you'll hear them play. The last piece of the program tonight is going to be that piece, the virtual concert. So that's a big doing, so I'm proud of you. You need a microphone. Are you set up? And it works best like that? Okay. We're going to do the flute concerto. Very beautiful. Thank you so much. We're operating on, what do we have, 12 people on stage. We normally have 30 to 35. The others were just, a little concerned about the corona because wind instruments do put out the vapors and they're worried about that, so I don't blame them for that. But considering that we went from 35 down to 12, I wrote a whole bunch of extra parts in their parts to cover things. Considering 12 people covering this type of music is pretty incredible. And one of the most difficult things there is playing a concerto, backing somebody up, because we have to change with the soloist. You have to be very nimble, and it's incredible what they just did. That is one of the hardest things to do. I know every time I'm playing in the orchestra, we're doing a concerto, I'm like, whoa, this is the tough one. So they did an incredible job. I'm very proud of them for that. And we're going to wrap up with Duke Ellington and this is the one we did the virtual concert with. And we hope you enjoy, and thank you again very much for being here and letting me be here with your wonderful people here. It's a treat for me. Thank you.
in my opinion, music is like the expression of emotion that you can't put into words.
MMYO for me is a really big family, and it also means that I get an opportunity to share my music with other people.
In MMYO, I feel inspired by the instructors. I just want to learn and become as amazing as them.
1, 2, 1, and 2.
Well, since the pandemic, this has been the one activity my daughter actually gets to go to. Every time we come here, or when we went to the Mainly Mozart drive-in, she's absolutely inspired.
Even if we're masked and we're distanced and it's less people and we have less time to rehearse, even with those restrictions, just being able to talk to others and play with others and just feel that sense of community in this time of isolation has been such an amazing gift. I've been in different ensembles over the years, and I think Mainly Mozart by far has just been the most fun I've ever had in ensembles.
And that was the Waltz number 2 by Shostakovich. It was heard in the last film of Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut. And I wanted to introduce and thank a couple of people. We have Cormac Caden, who is our percussionist from the Advanced Orchestra, and he's been helping out all the groups this year, and it's just a tremendous instrumentalist for us. Thank you, Cormac. And I also want to thank my go-to, or our go-to pianist, my daughter, Alexis. Thank you, Alexis. And we have Megan Apostle, who is our harp player in the Advanced Orchestra, and she very much wanted to be a part of this concert, but none of our pieces in advance calls for a harp, but she was happy to come in and play this the next piece for us. And Megan, you please be acknowledged. Here's Megan. Thank you. Our next piece is titled Spring Breezes by the wonderful composer Richard Mayer, and he lives up in Northern California, Arcadia, and I always have done a lot of his compositions. He writes for all kinds of levels, educational, and we are so lucky to have someone like him, and I've done a lot of his works throughout the years. This is based on a Taiwanese folk song, and beautifully arranged, so we'd like to play for you this Spring Breezes, and this is for all the Asian American Pacific Islander family and friends. Our next piece is another one by Richard Mayer, original incantations. It starts with a haunting first theme and explodes into a very fast-paced second theme. This is actually a favorite of intermediate orchestra. I bring it out maybe every 4 or 5 years, and this is as difficult as you would get for intermediate level. And I gave this to this orchestra last March, thinking that we'll do an all-string program, and they learned this in 2 months. It's amazing. Enjoy. We'll now conclude this portion of our program, the Intermediate Orchestra, with a piece for the entire orchestra. This is the finale by Tchaikovsky from his Fifth Symphony, and again arranged by Richard Mayer. We'll take a couple of A's to tune the orchestra. that was of course Mozart's first Divertimenti #1. He wrote 3 of them, and no doubt he was very influenced by his many trips that his father and him, they went to Italy many times, and he was influenced by the Italian Sinfonietta, which is usually just in 3 movements, and usually in the German way, string quartets were for 4 movements. Our next piece is by an African-American composer, George Walker. He actually wrote this when he was doing his graduate work at the Curtis Institute of Music. And he wrote it as a second movement from his first string quartet, entitled Adagio, and later titled it Lament, in the memory of his late grandmother, Malvina King. And this was written in 1946, and we would like to play this in memory of all the lives that we lost during this pandemic. we could conclude our evening, a wonderful piece by Hector Berlioz. It's his Le Corsaire Overture. Imagine the life of a pirate in the high seas. Everyone, thank you so much for coming out and being here and celebrating this evening with us. Enjoy Le Corsaire by Berlioz.
so much for coming. If you're a student in the audience, please make sure you check out with the chaperone in the check-in area. Parents, if you look to your left, you will see these lights. That's where you can pick up your child. Please send one parent to pick up your child. Check the lost and found as well for the students. With last night of the season. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Oh, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank the instructors one more time.